Hmm. I haven't made an Aug video in a while, and somebody was asking if I could share thoughts on some of his latest posts. He hasn't made videos in a while, so I'll comment a bit on his last Facebook post, which I have handily copied and sent via airdrop to my other phone. Technology. Technology is sometimes good. So his post says, now in the future, one is not judged by their intelligence, but by their ability to control the flow of information entering their mind, to learn and to functionally integrate the knowledge of their ignorance and their ancestors' ignorance in order to overcome. With the superficially imposed intelligence-based system we have on the surface now, society conforms to a process that limits itself to the speed of the least capable on the outside, while operating on an inverse spectrum on the inside. Here, a veneer of kindness and unity through individual collectivism is presented, yet the inner workings are always ruled by passion, power, cunning, knowledge, self-development, and free will. Is the external implication of education and intelligence perpendicular to the true inner hierarchy of this society, which is ruled by might and willingness to impress their vision upon others? Or is that true intelligence? So he says in the future, which means he's referring to one of his experiences where he was given visions, or where he describes where he had like a flash download of multiple possible universes, I suppose you could word it, parallel universes, or the multiverse theory. Just simply different ways of beings and individuals interacting in a shared space like we have here. So I'm assuming he's referencing one of those. One is not judged by their intelligence, but by their ability to control the flow of information entering their mind. That's something that everybody's learning here, or else remembering what that means exactly. Since we've had the internet make its appearance on the stage in this particular timeline in the 90s, it has flipped everything completely. And being that we are following this thing called consumerism, the power that comes with the internet is it's doing both things. It's simultaneously bringing to the forefront of most people's awareness sort of the shitty things that are out there, and it's also overwhelming everyone because they're used to much more simple sort of existence, and that's what our parents are used to. So, and even intelligence tests how we determine whether a person is intelligent or not. That's the methods that we used back in the day, like the IQ test. Now these are seen as measuring only one itsy bitsy piece of a human being's capacity for I would like to say intelligence, but I'm talking about intelligence, so I can't say that word. But we have other things coming in there like emotional intelligence, like intuition. Intelligence, as we used to know it, was strictly measuring your ability to learn what other people have deemed as facts and regurgitate them. And we're past that now. We're beyond that. So that's partially what this is talking about, is one is not judged by their intelligence, but by their ability to control the flow of information and to functionally integrate the knowledge of their ancestors, or to integrate the knowledge of their ignorance and their ancestors' ignorance. So what that's referencing, as far as I can tell, is this notion that everybody seems to have tried to blast into our minds, that history repeats itself. And we don't say that with reverence. We don't say, oh, we are so happy to be in utopia and thank God that history repeats itself. Because that's not the situation. When somebody says history repeats itself, they're talking about the wars and atrocities and the rape of the natural resources. That's what they're talking about. This way of speaking about history is really a bit of an excuse for those that could bring new vision into the realm. Because they'll be constantly hammering themselves with, oh, my new vision's not going to work because history repeats itself. Wars are always going to be happening, and there are always going to be homeless people because history repeats itself. Like, this is an excuse, sort of a meme. Excuse meme. Meme is probably the wrong word. Aphorism, saying. So being aware of your ignorance. Everybody has ignorance. We're not all knowing here. We're limited. And just because something was done in the past does not make it intelligent or caring for the other beings that are in the realm. Doesn't do that at all. It just shows that people are capable of maintaining comfortable head in the sand-ism. Because another aphorism that I'm sure you've heard is a comfortable lie is better than a painful truth, and that's what many opt for. With the superficially imposed intelligence-based system we have on the surface now, I feel like he's referring to the quantum computer that appears to be running things here. Algorithms, even the money system is coming into a unity. That's what the New World Order has always been about. It's been about having the control structure be just one, sort of a monopoly or a dictatorship on the control structure, rather than have what what free market capitalism intended to give, which is healthy competition, which reduces the sorts of bad things that come out of monopolies, namely, to my eyes, which is the mundaneness of repetition. It vacuums out all the creativity, and it just wishes to put everyone as a cog in the machine and repeat itself off into infinity for who knows what. That's the main thing that I see about monopolies that is a detriment to the people. Superficially imposed intelligence-based system. Society conforms to a process that limits itself to the speed of the least capable on the outside, while operating on an inverse spectrum on the inside. I assume he's talking about the societal operating status versus an individual being's inner workings. And he's kind of saying that a chain is as strong as its weakest link, and the society conforms itself around the ignorant things, because that's what we have propagated in the past. As a mass, as a whole, the proletariat has been sleeping and slumbering, and that's not involving active application of intelligence from each and every being that's here into what's going on, how it's going on, should it be going on, shouldn't it be going on, how can we retool if necessary. We've been operating on different we've been operating on an asleep machine-like way, because most everyone is asleep. So I feel like that's why, if society is conforming to a process that limits itself to the speed of the least capable, that's why it's doing that. Because as a mass, we are sleepwalking. So it's just doing unconscious maintenance, while operating on an inverse spectrum on the inside. Here, a veneer of kindness and unity through individual collectivism is presented, yet the inner workings are always ruled by passion, power, cunning, knowledge, self-development, and free will. Veneer of kindness is only something that is necessitated by the morphing of the word person to be able to include thought forms and you know, like companies, corporations. So the veneer of kindness is coming when you are speaking for another entity, so to speak. If you are a spokesperson for AT&T, yeah, and you're in the cutthroat business world, which is what it is. It's cutthroat and it's competitive, and there's dirty shit going on, obviously. Since we're this sort of society that emphasizes image and whatnot, then all the dirty things are not. Imagine if the head of a company got up and was like, well, you know, we basically fucked this whole entire piece of land here. You know, we're dumping out all kinds of toxic waste. We're employing children often in third world countries because, you know, it's expensive to make it in the States or whatever. And you know, we put in planned obsolescence to our product, so people will buy more often, because, you know, we need the economy to keep going up and up and up. And we don't pay our workers nearly enough. And so on and so forth. And I hope you guys continue to buy the product. You know, people wouldn't necessarily keep buying that product. So the veneer of kindness is necessitated to make the turd appear shiny. We like shiny things, so. But the intelligent and aware and awake individual being that's operating within this least common denominator society must function with cunning and cunning, knowledge, power, self-development, and free will. All of those things are indicative of an individual being that has individual intelligence, that is adapting himself to this least common denominator society that doesn't value his or her presence as an individual. It would like him or her to be a piece of the collective or a piece of the Borg, even though that's also anti to itself, because it's not respecting the individual for what they are. There needs to be a respect for the individual and the overarching group for it to work properly. Is the external implication of knowledge, is the external implication of education and intelligence perpendicular to the true inner hierarchy of the society, which is ruled by might and willingness to impress their vision upon others? Or is that true intelligence? I would also differ with the idea of the inner being hierarchical, that the hierarchical thing is that's still system based. It's system based, and your inner being is not system based. It's presence, and it's not hierarchical, as far as I've noticed. Might and willingness to impress their vision upon others. Might, impressing vision. These are sort of forceful words that, to me, are the system. That if somebody has a difference of opinion or vision, and you wish that your opinion and vision would overcome, then you must do something forceful in order for that to come about. And that is counterproductive, and that leads to dictatorships and things like that. It starts a tiny little thought in the mind, and then all of a sudden you have a dictatorship. But of course, that's also involving the collective and at what inner level they're at. Is the external implication of education and intelligence perpendicular to the true inner hierarchy of the society, which is ruled by might and willingness to impress their vision on others? Maybe he's not talking about simply aware beings. Maybe he's talking about the true working of the machine, as opposed to its appearance that it's taking care of everybody. That's a more likely possibility. Yep. That's my Aug interpretation for the day. Hope you enjoyed. Hope everyone's doing well. Bye-bye.